Bill O'Reilly, host of the No Spin News, BillO'Reilly.com, author of the upcoming book, Confronting Evil, assessing the worst of the worst. His message of the day, which we read every day, you should too, Trump versus the press. Well, watch Bill as he listens to his words read back to him. To say the corporate media is delighted by President Trump's falling poll numbers is the understatement of the year so far. The press wants Trump to fail so the media industry can be redeemed. Simple as that. Bill, good to see you. Agree that much of the media wants Donald Trump to fail. They are delighted by President Trump's poll numbers. I think reasonable people can agree that the poll numbers sometimes are a reflection of what the media gives the American people. You say, though, that Trump's failure would redeem the media. I don't understand that.
No, because they told the American people that he was a fascist and terrible person and incompetent, and they did everything they could to get Kamala Harris elected. And so now they can say, told you he was bad, told you he was this, told you he was that. But here's the main thing. On Friday, Leland and I will do an hour on NewsNation about the history of Donald Trump in his first 100 days. And it'll be totally different than what you hear all week. The most important thing for Americans to understand is this. President Trump has done something no other president has done, ever. He's tried to change two fundamental parts of America: the liberal culture, DEI, and the economy. Now, for any human being to try to change ingrained economic policies and at the same time go after the politically correct woke brigades, it doesn't matter if it's 100 days or 1,000 days. That is some ambition. He has not achieved, because no human being could, the economic part of it. But Americans, as you rightly pointed out, they're interested in the moment. But here's why the polls are fragile. If the stock market goes up 1,000 points, 2,000 points in May, then what goes up as well, Leland?
You're going to say the polls. And Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, made that very same point with Martha Raddatz. Take a listen.
When I look at some of the things that are being published, there was a story 10 days ago that said this is the worst April for the stock market since the Great Depression. 10 days later, the NASDAQ is now up in the month of April, and I haven't seen a story that says, oh, stock market has biggest bounce back ever. So
it certainly has gone back and forth.
I think a lot of this is media driven.
Bill, I remember during the Biden administration, when the Biden administration's big complaint about the economy was, quote unquote, how the media covers it, that they're not getting enough credit. This sounds an awful lot like the same talking point.
But it's not true. So with all due respect to the Treasury Secretary, the media isn't causing the panic on stocks. Paper is. You can read your statement. And the stock market went down in a horrifying manner, and no one was prepared for it.
But isn't that Trump's fault?
Shock.
Isn't that his fault for not knowing what anyone could tell you, that it was going to go down when you put in these massive tariffs? You were going to charge this economic stock, and not explaining to the American people, A, what was going to happen, B, why, and C, maybe sort of put in some safeguards and some stockpiles and be more selective in how he began this major revamp.
I think President Trump was caught by surprise in the markets, and he pivoted fast. Yeah. Once Bessent told him, you got to, because the U.S. dollar and the bonds and everything else, and he did. But I don't think he anticipated the stock market falling the way it did. But people have a right to be fearful. It's not the media that's driving the fear. It's people's hard-earned money declining on paper. But it's not ingrained. It isn't like Joe Biden, who was a failure from top to bottom, and nothing was ever going to get better under Joe Biden because he didn't confront the problems. He ignored them entirely. Trump can drive economic prosperity if things go his way, which means deals, and they keep promising that deals are going to be announced. I believe some will be. All right, that's my information. And he believes that it's when it turns around, it's going to be a roar. Now, if he's wrong, it's over.
He believes that, and we covered this in the special. But you keep saying, Caroline Levitt today said, deals are coming. Here it is.
The entire team is working 24/7 to get these trade deals done, and I think you'll be hearing more about them this week. I don't want to get ahead of the trade team or the president in announcing potential deals.
You were on this program 2 weeks ago, and you let me have it because you said Trump had never misled you. You thought deals were imminent that were going to completely change the narrative. And we are still waiting. There will be some deals. He's going to announce them. There is going to be this victory parade, and he is going to say, I have had huge wins, pretty much regardless of what's in the deals. Is Donald Trump not also realizing, A, the stock market had a much bigger drop and impact than he thought it was going to, number one, but number two, breaking things is easy. Actually negotiating trade deals with Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, and India that are meaningful is a lot harder and does not work in a cable news timeline.
It's true, but I don't think that they're dumb and stupid. And if Ms. Levitt is going to come out and smile and say some deals are going to be announced, I think they'll be announced. I mean, because if they're not, then they lose all credibility. And they're just not dumb people. Trump wants
Well, they've been known to throw things out that are...
But that's what they call hyperbole. This is policy. And Trump believes that this tariff stuff is going to turn it around so that the United States isn't sending $1 trillion a year out of here. That's what we have a $1 trillion trade deficit. And he's appalled by it.
No, and it's something he's talked about since the 80s. Set your DVRs. President Trump's first 100 days of his second term, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Are you better off? Two guys who look pretty good together on TV there. You obviously have the town hall with Cuomo coming up on Wednesday. Huge night for NewsNation with President Trump. Tell me why the first 100 days, this measuring stick that everybody seems to want to use, I'll give you the last 30 seconds, why it matters. Because presidents should be held to account. And you should get an honest appraisal of the first 100 days. Why not? And we'll do that in the town hall because President Trump himself is going to be leading off the show. And I'm going to be interviewing him, and so is Cuomo. And we're going to get information from him about the things that we're talking about here. We'll talk about on Friday. We'll get his point of view. I don't think he's going to do the hyperbole thing with me. I don't think so. It's going to be very straightforward. And it's important that the American people don't panic. I understand the fear. It's natural. Yep.
All right? But you've got to see the bigger picture. Here's a president like Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt was the only other one that went after the capitalistic system. That's right. And this is number two. And you're right. It is very difficult to do this. And he's rolling the dice on his legacy, Donald Trump.
All right. Bill, reports on the first 100 days of Donald Trump's legacy throughout the week on NewsNation. Good to see you. See you throughout the week. Bill, always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.